too long ago. I was sharing with you that through Trading Link, Oaksmart can offer financial services. Now, Trading Link, they've been around since 2021. Coming out of the pandemic year, they realized that people need options. So this institution, that their business model is called social trading. What they do is that they serve as a middleman between traders and customers. Oaksmart is one of those customers. Now, Oaksmart has to pay a hefty fee to be able to be a part of Trading Link. Trading Link has other customers too. But Oaksmart is now able to leverage three main functions from Trading Link. Number one, Trading Link has to attract the right traders. We know that we live in a world to where if you go to YouTube, you'll find a million people and they all claim to be profitable traders. But the reality is most of them are not. Most of them took a course here and there. They might have been in a network marketing company with an academy and they learned a little bit, but they can't really prove a successful track record to be able to trade for Trading Link. So Trading Link has to attract the right traders. Number two, they have to put them through the test. Not only does the trader have to submit receipts, basically, they have to show that for the last 6 months to a year, they've been profitable traders before they can even participate as part of Trading Link. Now, today, Trading Link counts with over 600 different traders from all over the world. And Trading Links makes money from two ways. They make money from their customers, right? People like Oaksmart, and they also share profits with their traders. So Trading Link has a very profitable business model. Trading Link, they do all of the heavy lifting for Oaksmart. What we do as a company is very simple compared to what they have to do. What we have to do is basically spread the word, share the message, share the information. Trading Link has to do all the technical things that, thank goodness, that Oaksmart didn't decide to try to figure it out all out themselves. Many companies have failed because they try to figure it out themselves. They've tried to go out there and hire their own traders by themselves, only to find out that it's more difficult than they imagined, right? So Trading Link, thank goodness for Trading Link. Why? Because now we can focus, and Oaksmart can focus on doing what we do best, growing the community, growing the customer base, right? So let's go ahead and continue on, and let's talk a little bit about our three main product offerings. Here on the screen right now, you have our two main product offerings. The first one is called Crypto Mini. And Crypto Mini is for deposits that start from $10 all the way to $499. Now, that's a very good option if, number one, you're lacking finances, or your finances are a little bit suspicious, right? Your finances are a little bit short. We've made decisions that have led us to a point to where $10 is all we have to be able to participate. That's okay. That's okay, because I believe all of us at some point we're at that very beginning in the same situation. Now, here's my advice as a new friend. Let this be the last time that all you have to be able to invest into yourself and your future. Let this be the last time that all you have is $10. Let's make better decisions. Let's grow our mindset. Let's grow our skill set so that in the future, when an opportunity comes, we have more than $10 to get started. But if all you have today is $10 where you feel comfortable getting started, guess what? It's still a better decision to get started than not to get started. Just the other day, I was talking to a potential customer and he said, Jaime, I have, like $25 to get started. So I'm going to wait to save my money. And when I have $500, I'm going to get started. And I told him, why don't you save your money in a way where it starts producing right away? If your intention is to save money to go to our next product anyways, why not put whatever it is that you feel comfortable putting to work? Let's start putting that to work now. And little by little, you can keep adding to your account until you get to participate with Crypto One. And Crypto One is our best product. Crypto One is where most people should start. If you have an opportunity to be part of Crypto One, that's where you want to be. Here's why. Because when you come in and you participate with Crypto One, whether you do it from day one or you do it gradually to where little by little you're adding to your balance until you get to have at least $500, that's the best possible place to be. Here's why: because it eliminates restrictions in the rewards program. The $500, even though $500 in the market is not going to change your life, it's going to give you some returns, but it's not going to change your life based on the percentages that are being offered. But it opens the door so that you can change your life through production, right? So one of the things that I like about Oaksmart is that we have flexibility on both ends. Oaksmart is very flexible in the way that we can deposit. Most companies will give you one option, maybe two options to deposit. Oaksmart gives you 9 different options on how to get started. You can get started by depositing Bitcoin. You can get started by depositing Ethereum. You can also deposit with Binance Coin. You can deposit with Solana. You can deposit with Litecoin. You can deposit with 3 different USDTs. You can deposit with USDT on the Ethereum network. You can deposit with USDT on the Binance Smart Chain. And you can deposit USDT on the Tron network. That alone is a huge plus for Oaksmart. I participated in programs to where at the time I had Litecoin, but in order to participate, I needed to come in with Solana. So here I go doing circus acts through different exchanges, paying fees to exchange my Litecoin to Bitcoin and then Bitcoin to Solana, overpaying for that only to be able to participate. Oaksmart said, hey, we're going to give you 9 different ways for you to be able to deposit. That way, you can save some money in transaction fees and swapping fees. Now, another beautiful thing about Oaksmart, and if you're taking notes, write this down. Everyone has an equal opportunity. Whether you came in and you got started with $10, or you came in and you got started with $200,000, everyone gets treated the very same way. Oaksmart isn't over promising. They're not promising that you're going to make 2% a day, 3% a day. The other day, somebody sent me a PDF where they were offering 10% a day, because we know that companies that offer that much are never going to be around longer than 30, 60, or even 90 days if they're lucky. With Oaksmart, here's the value proposition for a customer. If you deposit any amount of money from $10 and up, we're going to work your money and we're going to share with you 8 to 15% every single month. So if you deposit $10 or $200,000, what can you expect? Between 8 to 15% a month on your capital every single month. And on average, we're seeing right around 11% every single month. Now, that's better than any bank. We know that, right? I don't know how much your banks are offering you, but here in the United States, if you go to Chase, Wells Fargo, or Bank of America, which are the primary banks here, you're lucky if you get a couple of percents a year, if you're lucky. Most of the time, it's not even that. You're going to have to go and open up a CD account and lock up your money for a year, 18 months, or even longer to be able to get anything above and beyond a couple of percents. With Oaksmart, they're offering you 11% a month, but they're not offering you 50% a month. The numbers have to make sense. So the other day, I was talking to a trader friend of mine who's been trading for a small hedge fund for the past 6 years, and I said, hey, tell me truthfully, what's a healthy percentage that I can say, you know what, I'm going to make it a goal to grow my Forex account by X% every single month. And he said, Jaime, if you can get your account growing 5 to 6% a week, you're an awesome trader. So I said, okay, 5 to 6% a week. That means that 6 times 4, that's 24%. Let's say that Trading Link, let's say that that's what they're giving Oaksmart in return for their trades. Let's say it's 24% a month for Oaksmart. Here we can see that the numbers make sense. Why? Because if they're offering us 8 to 15%, and let's say as an example, they're making 24% through Trading Link, they still have a profitable business model for them. They can still fulfill the promise to the customer, and they can still offer commissions, because commissions don't come from people's investments here. They come from people's profits here, which is a completely new, different business model. Now, I know that if you're brand new, you probably don't understand the importance of what I'm about to say next. But let me tell you something. I've been here now for quite some time, and no one, not a single company out there, has ever given me an option to withdraw my capital at any time. Oaksmart doesn't believe in locking your capital. Someone can get started today with Oaksmart. And if tonight they get in a huge fight with their spouse over their decision, tomorrow they can withdraw their capital from Oaksmart. Now, I've seen companies that allow you to withdraw your profits. I haven't seen a single company that allows you to withdraw your initial capital. Now, there's only a couple of rules that we have to follow if we're going to withdraw. And here are the rules. If you deposited money into either Crypto Mini or Crypto One, and in less than 30 days, you decided that this isn't for you, you can withdraw your capital, and you're going to be able to withdraw 95% of your capital because the company is going to charge you 5% to withdraw your capital. I think that's extremely fair because I have my cell phone carrier is Verizon here in the US. And if I cancel my contract with Verizon before the contract is up, I'm going to pay a couple of $100s to get out of that contract. With Oaksmart, they're going to charge 5% just to say, hey, listen, you withdrew your money within your first 30 days. We're okay. But here's the thing. The rule is if you withdraw in your first 30 days, you're going to pay 5%. Now, that doesn't happen often. Most people are with us longer than 30 days. Now, if you've been here longer than 30 days, whether it's 31 days or 2 years, and you decide to withdraw your initial capital, you're only going to pay 1% to withdraw. That means that you're withdrawing 99% of your capital. And I think that's extreme. That's something that's unique. And in the sales world, that's called a unique selling proposition. That means that we have something that we can offer our customers that no one else can offer them, putting us head and shoulders above anything that looks even similar to what we're doing here with Oaksmart. Now, when you take a look at that, you take a look at the number that they're offering our customers, you take a look at the very flexible ways that we can deposit and the very flexible ways that we can withdraw, you start to realize that Oaksmart is a different breed. It's a different species. It's something that's never been seen before. So when you look at Oaksmart, I'm going to ask you to do what my great sponsor, the great Dong Ni, said to me. Erase the whiteboard of information that you have in your brain about how you think that these companies should operate and start with a clean slate. Give this an opportunity and give yourself an opportunity to see a brand new business model and to be able to catch it at the perfect time. This is the perfect time for Oaksmart. We just crossed over 130,000 accounts in a little over a year. We've paid out millions of dollars on a daily basis to hundreds of thousands of people that are now withdrawing daily from Oaksmart without a single glitch. We've had upgrades on our software. We've had upgrades on our back office without anyone even really noticing. They do an extremely good job at communicating. This presentation that you're on today, this happens every day, and it's going to continue to happen for like the next 60 days. They're doing it 100 days in a row, and every single day, there's incredible talent here sharing with us what Oaksmart is all about. Oaksmart is on a league of its own. There's nothing out there that can even compare. Now, let's talk about our third product. Our third product is called USD Coin. Now, USD Coin, we also know it as the compound interest product. Now, USD Coin is not a coin. That's just the name of the product. They could have named it the Jaime coin. It doesn't matter. It's just the name of the product. Now, this isn't a product where you can deposit initially. Like if I'm a brand new customer, I can't say, okay, I want to skip Crypto Mini, I want to skip Crypto One, and I'm going to go straight into USD Coin. The system won't allow it because USD Coin is a place where I can take my profits from Crypto Mini or Crypto One and transfer them over to USD Coin in blocks of a minimum of $10. So if I have $10 in profits that Crypto Mini or Crypto One already gave me, I have a choice. I have a choice to transfer those funds over to this product and make more money on top of money that I've already earned. It's like double dipping on the same win. Why? Because we already won profits And now we're about to win more profits on our profits. Now, here's the beautiful thing. USD coin is offering us between 15 to 18% a month. Right now, currently, is giving us a good 17% every single month on whatever amount we decide to transfer. Now, you can use strategies. I know a lot of people in our community, they use strategies. So here's what they do. They say, okay, I can withdraw 7 days a week, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to withdraw into my external wallet 5 days a week, and I'm going to redirect 2 days out of the week over to this third product. Some people are saying, okay, I'm going half the week out to me, half the week back into the reinvestment. Some people say, hey, for my first 90 days, any profits, I'm just going to reinvest them. You can create your own strategies. Now, it's not an obligation that you use this product. As a matter of fact, I'm not even recommending that you use this product. I'm just sharing with you that it's available to you if you so choose to use it. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. It's available to you the moment that you have at least $10 in profits. You can transfer them over, and now you're making on average 17% on your money with this product. Now, I'll give you a quick example. Say over a period of the next month, I earn $100 and I bring them over to USD coin. That means that my $100 is going to yield roughly around $17 in profits. So remember, these $100 are already profit, right? I got those profits from Crypto Mini and Crypto One. But now my profits just made me more profits. How do you feel about that? Doesn't that empower you? Doesn't that make you feel like, man, you're in control? Like you're calling the shots? What I love about this is that, let's say you decide not to use this product. The moment that you have at least $20 in profits from Crypto Mini or Crypto One, you're free to withdraw those profits directly into your decentralized wallet. You can send them to your Trust wallet, to your Exodus wallet, or any wallet where you feel comfortable. Isn't that wonderful? Now, today, you have additional benefits to using this third product. You know, right now, we're launching the second token of our 7 token project, right? So right now we're launching Oak 2. You know, a lot of us already went through Oak 1, where for participating in this third product, we were pre-mining, we were minting Oak 1. And we saw the price of that coin go from $1 to nearly $300 before all 12 million of those coins were divided amongst the members. Now, here's what I love about that. Not one of our members had to pay a single dollar for those tokens. It was awarded to them for participating in this third product. Now, I have a little bit of bad news for you. You missed Oak 1. That's okay, because Oak 2 right now is only $1.06. So imagine if we're able to do similar to what we did with Oak 1. And right now, you can start earning this token at $1.06. How does that work? Now, I just mentioned that if I had $100, the system was going to yield me around $17 in profits on top of my $100. But it's also going to yield me $17 in Oak number 2. That means that at today's price, I will roughly get around 16 Oak 2s on a monthly basis based on profits that I already earned from the products. Now, what can happen with the token? No one here knows. You know, I can tell you what the mission and the vision is. The vision is grow the community past 100,000 members. Right now, we have over 100,000 accounts, but we don't have over 100,000 members. Grow it past 100,000, get it to 500,000 members, and then launch the decentralized wallet. You know, part of this Web3 project that Oaksmart is launching is the main reason why they're incentivizing the growth of the community, because they need the numbers inside of this community to grow, so that when they launch their wallet, there's enough people that go to the Play Store, go to the Apple Store, and download the wallet. You know, if we only have 50,000 members and the company launches the wallet, maybe 20,000 are going to go download it. That's not enough. So the company is incentivizing the growth of our community with commissions, with rewards, so that when they launch their wallet, we can have 500,000 downloads and not just 20 or 30,000 downloads. Why is it so important to have numbers? Because the main purpose is to be able to push all of these tokens into an exchange. Now, it's not going to be Binance, guys. Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. Do you know what the requirements are to be able to get into Binance? They're heavy. We're going to need at least a couple of million downloads to even be considered. But in the marketplace, there are hundreds of exchanges that are trading millions of dollars on a given basis, on an everyday basis. And to be able to launch, even if it's Oak One at first, and to be able to see the open market, people that have nothing to do with Oaksmart, be able to trade the coin, pick up the coin, hodl the coin, hold for a little bit, and then sell the coin at a profit. You know what that gives Oaksmart? A fresh injection of money without you and I always having to be selling more, recruiting more. And what that means for you and I is a long-term company. Now, again, this third product is very, very special, but it's not an obligation that you use it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. Now, again, the flexibility is there. Why? Because we don't have a lockup period in USD coin either. You can withdraw your capital any day of the week. The same rules apply. If you've only been working with USD coin, this third product, for less than 30 days and you decide to withdraw or stop your deposits and withdraw your capital, you're going to pay 5% for doing so. But if you've been with USD coin, if you've been using this product for longer than 30 days, whether it's 31 days or 2 years, you're only going to pay 1% to withdraw your capital. That is what I just went through this first half of the presentation. That is the most impressive offer to a customer that this industry has to offer. This is why Oaksmart doesn't have to do deals with the devil. And what I mean by that is they don't have to go out there and do things to jeopardize the integrity of the company or to make it an unfair business advantage to networkers that have some type of experience. With Oaksmart, we are 100% okay with growing organically. We'll develop our own leaders. Why? Because leaders out in the marketplace, they tend to believe the hype. They believe their own greatness. And that is the first mistake of a leader in the marketplace. And here's what happens. A leader takes a look at Oaksmart and they say, okay, I want to do it, but the company has to do this for me and that for me. And hey, dismiss me with all that stuff. If you don't want to build here, I'll take somebody that knows nothing about what we do and I'll teach them everything about what we do and I'll create a brand new leader, even if it takes me 2 or 3 years. And that is the main reason why I'm in Oaksmart, because Oaksmart will give me the time to develop new leaders, new success stories. Many companies are just recycling success stories from one company to another. In Oaksmart, this is a leadership breeding ground, a leadership nest. This is where we develop and we grow leaders. Now, the second part of the presentation may or may not be for you because we're going to talk business. We're going to talk compensation. We're going to talk timing. We're going to talk market timing, and we're going to talk personal timing. So let's go ahead and get started with that part of the presentation. Now, I know that you guys can't text, but if you guys were to text, and if I was to ask you, hey, put a number 1 if you're excited about what you're seeing so far, I wonder how many of you guys will put a number 1. I don't know if you guys can send me a message, probably not, but if you guys can, just go ahead and put a number 1 so that I can see if you guys are excited for reals about Oaksmart and the future. The next 6 months of your life can be the best 6 months of your life because you have now found a vehicle that will be here in December for you and I to have the best end of the year ever. Do you know what we have here? We have something that people have been looking for years, and they keep climbing into vehicles, and these vehicles, apparently they drive themselves, and they drive themselves right off of a cliff. Why? Because what we have here in Oaksmart is a new opportunity. It's not a better opportunity. It's a new opportunity. Now let's talk rewards plan. Now our rewards plan it's a unit level. unilevel, and it's a X by 20. Now, X, because we have no limit to how many people, how many customers, or how many business partners we can personally invite. We can invite as many as we're willing to work for. But we do have a limitation as to how many levels in depth do we get paid. We can only get paid up to 20 levels. Now, it's 100% our responsibility to open up the 20 levels. How do we do so? With every active customer that we bring to Oaksmart, the system will open up 2 levels of pay for us. So if I bring 2 customers, that means that I can get paid from 4 levels. If I bring 3 customers, that means that I can get paid from 6 levels. So if I wanted to get paid from 20 levels, that means that I would have to have 10 personal customers so that I can get paid on all 20 levels. Now, once again, here's the beauty of Oaksmart. These 10 customers, they can be customers from $10 and up. So it doesn't matter if you have customers that are $10, others are $100, others are $100,000. All of them count. Now, the next part of the presentation is by far my favorite. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, but keep your ears wide open to what I'm about to say. In Oaksmart, and the reason why we're literally changing the rules of the game is because no one here gets paid from anyone's investment. That's going to take a little bit to settle in. We don't get paid from anyone's investment. So if I bring somebody in with $10, all $10 goes into a trading account and it goes into the market. If I bring in somebody at $200,000, the entire $200,000 goes into the marketplace. Now, so in most cases, if I get into a company and I put in $1,000, here's what happens. Out of my $1,000, minimum 10% are gonna go to my sponsor. There's $100 gone. Before my money even touches Forex, $100 are now gone. Now, if it's a binary system, that means that at least 3 binary payments, or 30%, meaning another $300, are off the table. So before my money even starts to get traded in the marketplace, the company is already short $400. So they only have $600 to go to work with. Now, here's what happens. The owner of the company says, hey, I need to go put pressure on my traders. Hey, traders, recover the $400 as soon as possible. And or if they're using a software, hey, we need to put pressure on the software. That means that if we need to change some of the programming so that it can go into more trades, that's what we have to do. And you know what happens? With one bad day in the marketplace, that company is resting in peace. Rest in peace. Now, if they're lucky to be able to recover these $400 and they have my $1,000 back, now they have to go out there and double it or triple it, or in some ridiculous cases, quadruple it. And with every single one of their new customers, that company is dying. That company is dying. They're digging their grave with every new customer, with every new distributor, because there's no way that they'll ever recover from a hole that deep. That's 40% deep in the hole. Impossible. So with Oaksmart, we're smarter than the average cat. So here's what Oaksmart did. Let's say you invite me. That means that I'm considered your level 1, right? You can get paid down to 20 levels depending on how many levels you're qualified to get paid. And if I deposit $500, which is the sweet spot, if you were to ask me, Jaime, what's your ideal business like in Oaksmart? I want to have 1 million people that are participating at $500 each. No one's overstepping their risk management. No one's risking their house payment. No one's putting their kids out of college. If I can have an army of people participating at $500, that's utopia, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what I have in my mind to do. If anybody puts more than that, that's because they make their own decisions. But the way that I propose We do businesses. Hey, let's build a huge network of $500. And let me tell you what happens. So my $500 starts to work, right? So my $500 is going to start yielding between 8 to 15% a month, right? On average, giving me around $2 in profit every single day, roughly, on average. We know that the market is volatile. That means that the results can be volatile. They have to be variables, right? But out of those $2 that I made, I'm a happy camper because if I go give my bank $500, I don't think they'll give me $2 for the whole year. So I'm excited about my $2. Now, you should be excited too because since I'm your first level, you're rewarded 50% of whatever my daily yield is. So if I yielded $2, you're making $1. If I make $2 tomorrow, you're making $1 tomorrow. If I make $2 for the next 365 days, you make $1 for the next 365 days. For how long? Well, for as long as I remain a customer with Oaksmart. Since the company is flexible, I can withdraw my money at any time. That means that if I stay for a month, well, I'm your customer for a month. If I stay for a year, I'm your customer for a year. Now, what are you building here? You're building a residual income. This is bigger than passive income. Passive income and residual income are two different things. Passive income means I built a team, my team is working, and because my team is working, I can go on a holiday, I can go on vacation, I can go to sleep. Why? Because I have a working team. But what happens if my team stops working or they get recruited into the next shiny object? What happens to my income? Passive or not, it's gone. Residual income is based on the results of the product. You know, when I signed up to network marketing 24 years ago, it was a service that I was selling. And I remember the guy that was leading our organization, he said, imagine in 5 years, in 10 years, having 100,000 people every single month paying for the service because they want to. And because they want to pay for the service, imagine you earn just a few cents for each and every single one of them, month in and month out. Whether you stop recruiting, whether you stop selling, whether your entire team stops selling and they stop recruiting, imagine if we were getting paid not for the new sales volume, if we were getting paid on repeat customers or the usage of our products. That's as if you were Michael Jackson and you wrote Thriller in 1984, and every time they play Thriller, the Jackson estate makes a few cents. That's residual income. That's residual income. That's like if you're Keanu Reeves and you went on the set of The Matrix, and every time somebody watches The Matrix, Keanu Reeves gets a couple of dollars. That's residual income. He had to film that movie once, but he continues to get paid over and over and over and over again. The day that you realize what residual income is, you'll run through a brick wall to make sure that you have some in your life. Residual income is the key to freedom. We have residual bills, right? Bills come in every month, right? They don't miss. Why not have residual income? Now that happens on your first level. What happens if I up my balance? If I take it from 500 to 5,000? Well, I'm going to increase my results. Right now, instead of making $2 a day, I may be making $20 a day. And now, because I'm still your first level, instead of you making $1 a day, now you're making $10 a day. What if you had 10 of me? That's $300 a day. No, that's $100 a day. That's $3,000 a month. What if you had 20 of me? What if you had 500 of me? There is no limit to how many people you can have in your level one. As a matter of fact, based on this rewards plan, that's what the company wants us to do. Build as wide as we possibly can the first line. That's the reason why it pays us 50% on the results of our customers on level one, but starting from level 2 all the way down to level 20, it drops down to 5% of the results. How does that look in a real example? Let's say that this is you, right? And you invite me, and I come in with the minimum, right? I come in with $10. Now, I know that coming in at $10 is not going to make me rich, but it's a starting point, so I'll take it. My $10 is going to yield roughly around 4 cents every single day, Monday through Sunday. That's how I know I'm not going to get rich with a $10 account. That's okay. It's a starting point. I'm your level one. Now, in level one, you match me 50%. So I made 4 cents. You make 2 cents. You're not going to get rich with me either. That's okay, because at any point, I can continue to add to my account. But this is just an example. Let me give you the other extreme. You invite customer number 2, and he comes in with the maximum. The maximum is $200,000. Now, $200,000 is going to yield this customer around $800 a day. Now, this customer is still your level one. 50% of $800 a day is $400 every single day, Monday through Sunday, all 31 days of the month. That's $12,000 residually with one customer. Show me another compensation plan where with one customer, not even one builder, this one customer doesn't have to invite anyone else. He just has to be a customer. And if he's making $800 a day, the person who invited him is making $400 a day. Life-changing income in most cases. You start making $400 a day in Guatemala, which is where my family's from, or El Salvador, or Nicaragua, or Colombia, or Peru. Life just changed. Residually. That means that you're not depending on a team to be able to make those $400 a day. You're making them on one customer. Now, I have bad news for you. Most people don't come in with $10, and most people don't come in with $200,000. That's the reality of Oaksmart right now. But whatever amount it is, whatever amount that they deposit in your first level, whether it's little or large, you're qualified to earn 50% of their rewards, not their deposits. Now, we spoke earlier that in order to get paid down 20 levels, we have to have 10 active customers, right? So that number 10 is very important because it's inside of the DNA of this comp plan, and it drives behavior. Everyone who comes into Oaksmart, they see the rewards plan, then they immediately begin to think, I need to have 10 customers. Without you having to motivate them to go do it, without you having to pressure them to go do it, they just want to do it. You know why? Because they want to get paid 20 levels. So it's very safe to assume that on your level one, you're going to shoot for 10 customers, right? On level one. Now, what do you think those 10 people are going to want to do? The same thing that you're doing. Exactly. So on level two, there's a potential to have 100 people or more or less, but there's a potential to have 100 people. Where did I get that number from? Well, if you have 10 people that are looking to do what you're doing, that means that 10 people that go out there and look for 10 customers each, 10 times 10, that's 100. Now, imagine being able to bring 100 customers to a good place, to a new opportunity, to a place where they're going to earn safely on their money and earn 5% on the results of 100 people. Now, this is a true definition of a win-win situation. In most cases, it's not like that. In most cases, it's a deposit win situation. The customer deposits, we win. In this case, it's when the customer wins, it's when we win. So it's a win-win situation. What an amazing, amazing concept. It only took 10 years of my career to be able to find such a beautiful concept. But you, if this is the first time that you're looking at this, let me save you 10 years of looking for things. You landed in the Ferrari of this industry in the digital space. Now, don't mess it up. That means that if you don't know how to drive a Ferrari, hey, take some mentorship. It's okay to learn first before you go out there and you try to go 0 to 100 real quick, because you're going to crash real quick. Now, what would happen on level number 3, right? If we have 100 people looking for 10 people each, that means that we have a potential to have 1,000 people or more or less on level 3. And on level 3, you can also qualify to earn 5% on the wins of 1,000 people. J. Paul Getty, who back in the early 1900s, he said, I would rather have 1% on the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts. That makes so much sense. When I was in construction, and that's my background, by the way, I never graduated high school. I became a father at a very young age of 17, 18 years old, and I went straight to work. In the Hispanic culture, that's the plan. Hey, if you have a baby, forget about your life, you go to work. That's what happens. And guess what, guys? If I didn't show up to work, well, I had 6 sick days. That means that the company allowed me to be sick 6 days a year. I had about a week vacations time. So the company says, hey, you earned about a week's paid vacation time. But after those vacation days are over, after the paid time off is over, if I don't show up to work, I don't get paid. And if I don't show up enough times, I get fired. Now, imagine being able to leverage off of the wins of a community. That is where we are. Now, you can continue to do the math down 20 levels, but let me save you the time. There's not enough people on planet Earth to be able to grow this 10 by 20. But what this rewards plan is very clear on is that a lot of people fit inside of this community. The numbers here can be huge. Now, let's talk a little bit about the second part of the compensation plan. Now, the second part of the compensation plan is for leaders. Now, leadership in our industry is rewarded, but also it's shared responsibility. This is why most people are never going to be leaders in the industry, because the responsibility that needs to be shared is one that most people don't want to take on. But I know I'm in the right room today, and I know that inside of this room there are potential leaders that will take the baton of leadership and lead with integrity, and lead with humility, and lead with courage, an organization. If you're willing to do that, there's a lot of money to be made in Oaksmart. Now, let me give you the breakdown. There's only 8 levels of leadership inside of Oaksmart. The first one is Generation 1, which we also call it Junior Partner. The last one is Generation 8, which we also call Crown Ambassador. But for short, we're just going to keep it Generation 1 to Generation 8. Now, here's the importance of the $500. The first qualification to be able to become a junior partner is to have $500 in your account working for you. That means that if you started with Crypto Mini, even if you meet the rest of the criteria, you'll never qualify for rank unless you have at least a $500 deposit, whether you did it all at once or you did it little by little, but you have to have more than $500 in your personal account working for you in order for you to climb up the rank. The second requirement is to have $50,000 accumulative, even if it takes you 10 months to do that, in your smaller team. Let's talk a little bit about that. Your smaller team means that if you have your 10 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? These are your 10 teams. There's always one team that is a superstar team. That team is going to do more than the other 9. So let's say that team number 1 is your superstar. And let's say team number 1 has $100,000 in production. Now, team number 2 has $10,000. Team number 3 has $5,000. Team number 4 has $10,000, $5,000, then $10,000, $5,000, $10,000, $5,000, $10,000. In this example, team number 1 will be considered your big market or your large market. And then every other team from team number 2, and in this example, to team number 10, but you can have more, is considered your small market. So if you wanted to qualify for rank, the volume that counts is your small market volume. So in this example, you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 in volume in your small market. That means that you have more than enough to qualify for junior partner. That's what it takes, growing the small market. Now, for growing the small market, the company is going to reward you with a global bonus. Now, if you grow your small market by 3% on any given date, at the end of the day, there's a reset clock, and there's a part in your back office that says, okay, we're starting right now. if you started, for example, right? If you started and the volume was $70,000, right? So if today is Sunday and your small market ended at $70,000, right? And you wanted to earn that bonus, that means that you have 24 hours to get $70,000 to increase to $72,100. That means that it grew 3%. And because it grew 3%, now you're qualified for this global bonus. Now, how much does that mean in money? That can mean anywhere between $150 to $200 extra per day. Any given day that you grow your small market by 3%, boom, you qualify for that bonus, and that bonus gets paid that same day. Now, the more you climb up the ranks, the higher these numbers get. But let me talk to you about the bonus that is my favorite bonus in all of Oaksmart, and that's this differential bonus here. Now, this differential bonus says that the moment that you reach Generation 1, junior partner, you have a 5% differential bonus that you can earn. And you can earn from 5% all the way to 40% extra on the daily returns of your community. How does that work? Now, I'm going to go ahead and erase this so that we can redraw it. But the way that it works is, let's say that you're qualified. We have to flip it upside down so that we can get the best example possible. Let's say that you're a Generation 8 Crown Ambassador and you're qualified for 40%. How does it work? So if you're a Generation 8, that means that you're a Crown Ambassador, right? That means that you're qualified for 40%, and you invite Team A to the table. Now, Team A is brand new. He has a ways to go before he can reach his first rank. So he's at 0%. But you go to work with this person, and you help him between him and his team that he's developing to bring $100,000 in total production. Not small market production, just total production. Now, because you're at 40% and this individual is at 0%, $100,000 is going to yield this team roughly around $400 a day in daily pay. But because you're at 40% and he's at 0%, you qualify for 40% of $400, which would be $240 every single day, Monday through Sunday. Why? Because you take home the difference from where you are and they are on all the daily yield. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say you bring in Team B, and Team B is already qualified for 10%. He's a Generation 2 senior partner. And you help Team B to bring $200,000 in production. That's going to yield his team around $800 in daily pay. Because you're at 40% and this person's at 10%, you take home 30% of those $800, which is another $240 every single day. We're already at $480 a day with only 2 teams. Now, let me give you another example, a little bit extreme. Let's say Team E is at Generation 7. That means he's qualified for 35%. And because he has a bigger team, let's say his production is $1 million. Now, that $1 million is going to yield his team roughly around $4,000 in daily pay for the community. Because you're at 40% and this individual is at 35%, you qualify for 5% of the 4,000, which would mean you take home $200 extra every single day from that team's daily yield. Now, that's only with 3 teams. What would happen if you have 10 teams? What would happen if you have more? Currently, I'm working with 27 frontline teams. I have people on my team that have over 50 frontline teams. There are people inside of Oaksmart that have over 200 frontline teams. This bonus here is the main reason why we have people earning 5 figures and even 6 figures per day. This bonus is the most aggressive differential bonus in the marketplace today. But again, it's a sustainable bonus because all of the bonus are based on what? Is based on profits. They're not based on anyone's deposits. That means that first the money goes into the marketplace through the services that Trading Link offers us. They're able to work that money and bring home a return. And from that return, the first people that eat is the company. Then the 8 to 15% gets paid out to the customer. And the distributor, ladies and gentlemen, we get paid a percentage of that percentage. This is the reason why Oaksmart is the most sustainable vehicle in the marketplace today. And if you've been looking for a home, you found one today. Now, not only do they reward us with commissions, but if you're all in, right? If you are all in with the opportunity and you participate of the culture and the culture building events, the company is going to reward you even more. But I just want to be clear. What I'm about to talk about next is only for those who not only hit the rank, but also attend corporate events in person. If you qualify and you decide to stay in Singapore, Sri Lanka, Los Angeles, South Africa, and you don't go to convention, well, the company already paid you your commissions, and that's what the company's here to do. The extra prices you don't earn unless you go to convention. Do you know why? Because if you study the strongest companies in network marketing, the companies that have been around for decades, all of them have events every 3 to 4 months. And their distributorship leaves their hometown. They leave their comfort zone. They jump on airplanes. They get uncomfortable. They go to a specific destination. They surround themselves with like-minded people, like-minded energy. They all learn from the top of the best, the tip of the top, the cream of the crop, all under one roof. That's where you meet your team. That's where you build culture. That's where you build bonds. You build friendships. That's the reason why Oaksmart knows that events are important. But you don't have to participate. But if you want these prices, then we must go to the events. Let's talk about these prices. The first one is for our senior partners, Generation 2. Now, in Generation 2, senior partner, when you get to convention as a Generation 2, you can take home an Apple iPhone or $1,500 in USDT at convention. When you show up to convention as a Generation 3, you get to take home Apple Vision Pro or $3,500 in USDT. When you show up as a Generation 4, they're going to bundle the best Apple products, or you get to select $8,000 in USDT. When you get to convention as a Generation 5, you take home a Rolex Daytona, so you can know what time it is, or $25,000 in USDT. When you get to convention as a Generation 6, now we're talking vehicles. Right now you get to take home a Porsche 718 or $70,000 in USDT. When you show up as a Generation 7, you get to take home a Mercedes AMG or $135,000 in USDT. And when you show up as the head honcho, and when you show up as a Crown Ambassador Generation 8, you take home a Ferrari F8 or $298,000 in USDT. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't sell these prices. Here's what I do sell. When a company gives you enough time for you to be able to reach these ranks, for you to be able to reach Crown Ambassador, that means that the company has plans to be here long term. And now I promise you, when you get to Crown Ambassador, you'll buy your own Ferrari. You'll have more than enough to buy all of these cars on your own. But if you want one for free, all you have to do is jump on a plane and go to the next convention. Now, we do have 2 additional bonuses that are strictly related to your small market. For instance, when you help your small market to have $50 million in total deposits, you earn a luxury apartment or $700,000 in USDT. And when you help your small market reach 100 million in total deposits in your small market, you get to take home a luxury villa or your dream home or $1.5 million in USDT. Again, to be able to have $100 million in your small market, that means that's going to take you years. Unless you know a bunch of billionaire friends that are willing to just open up big accounts here. But for most people, that's going to take years. And that's the greatest thing you can ever hear from me. Because if it can take years and the company's here for those years for you to be able to earn this bonus, my friend, you're already wealthy when you get to these bonuses. But if they're going to offer you $1.5 million, take it. Now, here's the next logical step. The next logical step is for you to be able to identify yourself with the person who invited you. Once again, before I close out this part of the presentation, you need to know that the decision is 100% yours. I tend to get excited during presentations. I like the project, but don't let my excitement or the person who invited you, his excitement or her excitement, get you in over your head. If you can only start with $10, start wherever, get in where you fit in. Start wherever you can. You can always work your way up. If this isn't for you, don't even feel bad. We understand not everything is for everybody. We know that. We respect the fact that you may like what you do for a living and you're not looking for another option. We're okay with that. We appreciate the fact that even though that's your stance, you still showed up and you still supported the person who invited you. You were still open-minded enough to spend some time with us learning about this amazing opportunity. But if it's not for you, that's okay. But I need you to identify yourself with the person who invited you. If you want to do this as a customer, text the person who invited you a number one right now. Grab your phone, look for the person who invited you, and send them a number one if you just want to be a customer. Now, if you want to be a distributor and a customer, meaning you want to build this as a business, grab your phone and text them a number two right now. Grab your phone right now and text them a number two. And if this is not for you at the moment, simply grab your phone and text a number three to the person who invited you. They'll understand. And here's the only thing that we would ask, that you leave that window open so that, our business partner, the person who invited you, can have in 3 months, 4 months, an open opportunity to come back and share with you how is it going for him or for her. Now, that is the presentation for today. And as promised, for those of you who want to stick around, you guys are more than welcome to stick around. If you have to go, if you're a guest and you have to go, this officially ends our presentation. But if you can stay and you want to go through a small training session with me about how to launch the month of June with intensity and with purpose, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this screen and we're going to go into the whiteboard. So I wish I can open up the chat. I wish I can see you. I wish I can hear you. I know that we do this to protect, right? Because there's people online that are straight haters, and they'll jump on any Zoom. It doesn't matter what Zoom. They can jump on a church Zoom and start hating, right? And we don't want to do that. So that's the reason why we protect the community by closing down the chat. But believe me, I wish I can see all of your chats and all of your comments and your cameras and all of that. But let me tell you something. There's